Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving into one of the most epic and dramatic stories from the ancient world, the tale of Samson. This isn't just a story about a strong man, it's a story of divine purpose, human weakness, and incredible redemption. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable, and let us journey back in time to an era when Israel was desperately in need of a hero. Our story begins during a dark period for the people of Israel. For 40 long years, they had been suffering under the harsh rule of the Philistines. It was a time of oppression and despair. But in the small town of Zorah, something extraordinary was about to happen. There lived a man named Manoah and his wife. They were good people, but they carried a heavy sadness. They were childless. One day, an angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife. Imagine her surprise. This divine messenger came with a breathtaking announcement. She would conceive and give birth to a son. But this wouldn't be just any child. This boy was chosen by God for a special purpose, even before he was born. He was destined to be a Nazarite. Now, what's a Nazarite? It was a special vow of separation to God. For this child, the rules were very specific and were to be followed for his entire life. The angel instructed her, "You must not drink wine or any other fermented drink, nor eat anything unclean. And most famously, no razor may be used on his head, because the boy is to be a Nazarite, dedicated to God from the womb." His uncut hair would be a visible sign of his vow and the source of his incredible God-given strength. The angel then revealed the boy's ultimate destiny. He will begin the deliverance of Israel from the hands of the Philistines. Overwhelmed and excited, she rushed to tell her husband Manoah. Manoah, wanting to be sure, prayed to God, asking for the divine messenger to return and give them more guidance on how to raise this special child. God heard his prayer, and the angel appeared again, this time to both of them. The angel repeated the instructions, confirming the sacred responsibility they were being given. As the angel ascended to heaven in a flame from their altar, Manoah and his wife fell on their faces, fully understanding that they had been in the presence of God. Just as promised, Manoah's wife gave birth to a son, and they named him Samson. The name Samson is related to the Hebrew word for son, and like the sun, he was destined to be a powerful force. As Samson grew up, the Bible tells us the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir in him. From a young age, it was clear he was different. He possessed a physical strength that was simply superhuman. This strength wasn't for showing off at the local gym. It was a gift from God for a specific mission, to challenge the Philistine oppressors and begin freeing his people. Samson's life was meant to be a living testament to God, as power working through a dedicated individual. His Nazarite vow was the key to this power. As long as he remained faithful to his vow, the Spirit of God would empower him to perform incredible feats. Now, as Samson grew into a young man, his story takes a turn that might surprise you. Instead of looking for a wife among his own people, the Israelites, his eyes fell on a Philistine woman from a town called Timnah. This was a big deal. The Philistines were the enemy, the very people he was supposed to be fighting against. His parents were understandably upset. They asked him, "Isn't there a woman among your relatives, or among all our people, that you must go to the uncircumcised Philistines to get a wife?" But Samson was insistent. He told his father, "Get her for me. She's the right one for me." What his parents didn't know was that this seemingly rebellious choice was actually part of a divine plan. The scripture says, this was from the Lord, who was seeking an occasion to move against the Philistines. God was using Samson's personal desires to create a conflict that would ignite the rebellion. So, Samson and his parents traveled to Timnah to arrange the marriage. On the way, something dramatic happened that gave Samson his first real test. As he approached the vineyards of Timnah, a young lion suddenly came roaring toward him. Without any weapon in his hand, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him in power. Samson tore the lion apart with his bare hands, as easily as if it were a young goat. It was a staggering display of his divine strength. But he kept this incredible feat to himself, not even telling his parents what had happened. He was beginning to understand the power that coursed through him. Sometime later, when he returned to Timnah to marry the woman, he passed by the spot where he had fought the lion. He turned aside to look at the lion's carcass and saw something amazing. A swarm of bees had made a honeycomb inside it. Samson scooped out some of the honey and ate it as he walked along. He even shared some with his parents, though he still didn't tell them where he got it from. This strange and powerful image, honey from the body of a predator, would soon become the centerpiece of his first confrontation with the Philistines. At his wedding feast, a celebration that traditionally lasted 7 days, Samson decided to challenge the 30 Philistine men who were his companions. He proposed a riddle, a common form of entertainment back then, but this one had high stakes. He said, "Let me tell you a riddle. If you can solve it during the 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if you can't, you will give me the same." The Philistines agreed, and Samson posed his riddle. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. For 3 days, the Philistines were completely stumped. They couldn't figure it out. Frustrated and facing the prospect of losing the bet, they resorted to dirty tactics. They went to Samson's new wife and threatened her, saying, "Coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your father's household to death. Did you invite us here to rob us?" Terrified, his wife began to cry and pressure Samson. Day after day, she pleaded with him, saying, "You hate me. You don't really love me. You've given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer." Samson resisted at first, saying, "I haven't even explained it to my own parents, so why should I explain it to you?" But she persisted, weeping and nagging him for the rest of the feast. Finally, on the 7th day, worn down by her constant pressure, Samson gave in and told her the answer. And of course, she immediately went and told her countrymen. Just before sunset on the final day of the feast, the Philistine men came to Samson with smug looks on their faces. They said, "What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion?" Samson knew immediately that he had been betrayed. His response was sharp and full of anger. "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle." He was calling them out for using his wife to cheat, but a bet was a bet. Now, Samson had to come up with 30 sets of fine clothing. And this is where we see his raw power unleashed against the Philistines for the first time. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him again. He went down to the Philistine city of Ashkelon, struck down 30 of their men, took their clothes, and gave them to the men who had solved the riddle. Burning with fury, Samson didn't even complete the wedding. He left his wife and stormed back to his father's house. This single event, a riddle at a wedding feast, was the spark that lit the fuse. Samson's personal betrayal became the justification for a public war. It was the occasion that God was seeking. The Philistines had shown their treachery, and Samson had shown his devastating power. The lines were drawn. Samson's birth was miraculous, his vow was sacred, and his strength was supernatural. He was a flawed and impulsive man, driven by passions he often couldn't control. Yet, he was God's chosen instrument. This first part of his story sets the stage for a life of explosive conflict, incredible feats, and ultimately, a lesson about how God can use even our imperfect choices to achieve his perfect will. The boy born to save Israel had now thrown the first punch. The saga of Samson, the deliverer, had truly begun. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into Samson's early life. It's a story that continues to get even more intense, with more battles, more drama, and more incredible displays of strength. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter. We'll see you in the next video.